This is going to be the new O.J. Simpson trial of the century. This is going to be the trial of the century. Nobody wants to be on the jury. I don't blame them. I told you guys that jury selection was going to be very, very hard. This jury selection is going unusually long. According to the rumors, that's because no one wants to be on the jury.
In a courtroom already shrouded in tension, secrecy, and unprecedented celebrity drama, the latest twist in the ongoing legal saga involving Sean P. Diddy Combs has thrown fuel on an already raging fire. Whispers and rumors are now swirling around one of the jurors in the high-profile case.
They say that the trial is supposed to last, I believe it was 10 days. This is going to be a long, long trial.
Suggesting that someone may have been quietly removed from the jury after suspected misconduct, bias, or even external tampering. The courtroom had been holding its collective breath for weeks as testimony mounted, evidence unfolded, and new allegations surfaced against the music mogul. From explosive witness statements to chilling surveillance footage, every day seemed to bring new revelations about a man whose empire was once synonymous with power, wealth, and untouchable status. But now, a murmur is spreading beyond the confines of the courtroom.
Not a lot of people make that much money. Not a lot of people are into being a mogul. You're not going to find anybody that's likely going to be Diddy's peer, because it's supposed to be a jury full of your peers.
One of the jurors may have been dismissed behind closed doors, and no official explanation has been provided. It began subtly. A regular court observer, known for chronicling daily proceedings on social media, posted about an empty juror seat on the left side of the box. The following day, another juror sat in the same position. Legal analysts initially assumed it was an alternate being rotated in as part of a procedural shift. But questions began to rise when courthouse staff refused to comment, and the official docket showed no record of the change.
That his wealth could influence the trial's outcome. No. You got to go. Well, you don't need one of Diddy's associates, signaling you. One juror was excused after stating that Combs could buy his way out of jail.
Normally, even minor juror substitutions are a matter of public record. This time, there was silence. The internet ran wild with speculation. Some claimed the juror was caught speaking to media during a recess. Others insisted the person had been identified as having a distant connection to one of Diddy's former associates, raising red flags for potential bias. A more sinister theory began circulating shortly after, that someone from Diddy's camp had reached out indirectly or directly in an attempt to influence the jury. Though unproven, this final theory sent shockwaves through legal circles. The possibility that a juror in such a closely watched federal trial could be compromised was too serious to ignore. Judges in high-profile cases often go to great lengths to sequester jurors, restrict media access, and enforce strict behavioral codes. But when money, fame, and fear are in play, anything is possible. And with Diddy facing mounting accusations not only of financial misconduct but also criminal behavior linked to violence and abuse, the pressure surrounding the trial is almost unprecedented. For Diddy's legal team, the swirling juror controversy couldn't have come at a worse time. Just days before the rumors began, damning new evidence had been introduced. Phone records and private messages implicating the mogul in decisions that contradicted his earlier statements.
And then all of a sudden, she can't see Diddy as a separate case. Now, Diddy is her perpetrator. And, you don't want a woman on there that, as Cassie starts telling her story, she's reliving it.
The defense had already been working overtime to discredit witnesses, many of whom were former employees, partners, or inner-circle confidants. But once the jury issue surfaced, the focus shifted away from testimony and toward courtroom integrity itself. Adding to the intrigue, a member of the courthouse security team was overheard saying that things got a little messy after last Thursday's session. Though vague, the comment was picked up by multiple sources who frequent the courthouse. One local reporter tweeted that a quiet emergency meeting was held between the judge, prosecution, and defense, an unusual move that took place off the record. No statements were released afterward, further fueling the idea that something serious and possibly embarrassing had occurred. Legal commentators are now debating what the removal of a juror, especially in secret, could mean for the overall outcome of the case. In most scenarios, if a juror is dismissed for cause, the court is required to inform counsel and make a record of the decision. If misconduct or external tampering occurred, the implications could be explosive. In extreme cases, it might justify a mistrial or at least delay proceedings significantly. The prosecution has so far made no public acknowledgement of the situation. However, during cross-examination on Monday, the lead prosecutor made a pointed comment about maintaining the integrity of this room, a line that many believe was a subtle nod to the growing concerns behind the scenes. The defense, for its part, has avoided any reference to the matter, likely hoping to avoid giving the story more oxygen or triggering a deeper investigation. Outside the courtroom, the media frenzy continues to swell. Diddy's legal woes have dominated headlines for months, but the alleged juror drama has shifted the focus from allegations to courtroom ethics. Has the trial been compromised? Are there more jurors at risk of being influenced? And most importantly, who exactly was this juror, and why were they removed?
Another one was substance use. A man admitted to daily recreational marijuana use. This is going to be the new O.J. Simpson trial of the century. This is going to be the trial of the century, especially maybe a Black female juror. You know, we're a special group. We know how to talk to each other. That's what I'm thinking why he brought her on. So this sounds like a person that doesn't want to be on the trial.
No one has stepped forward with first-hand information. Even courtroom sketch artists, who typically document the jury box in broad strokes, have avoided identifying any individual expressions or notable absences. Reporters attempting to identify jury members for comment have been threatened with legal action and reminded of the severe consequences of juror harassment. The silence is deafening, but telling. Legal experts point out that while the public may never know the full story behind the juror's removal, judges have wide discretion when it comes to protecting the process. It's possible that the court determined the juror's behavior was concerning but not criminal. Perhaps something as simple as too much social media activity, a casual comment to a friend, or previous exposure to the case via media coverage. Still, when stakes are this high, even the appearance of impropriety can be enough to justify removal. At the heart of this story is a man whose legacy now hangs in the balance. Sean Combs built his empire on charisma, influence, and relentless ambition. But as his legal troubles deepen, the shine has faded.
Some jurors were dismissed after acknowledging they had seen a video in 2016 allegedly showing Combs' assault. That's the Cassie tape.
Allegations of abuse, corruption, and manipulation are painting a very different portrait of the mogul once known as Puff Daddy. Now, with whispers of juror tampering clouding an already controversial case, questions are being raised not just about the charges, but about the system itself. If the trial ends in conviction, the defense could seize on this issue as grounds for appeal, arguing that the jury pool was tainted or improperly managed. If he's acquitted, critics will point to the mysterious juror removal as a possible sign of unseen manipulation. Either way, the incident has created a fog of uncertainty that will linger long after the verdict. For now, the courtroom remains locked down, the jury instructed to avoid media, and the judge determined to maintain control. But the rumor has done its damage. It's already spreading, already being woven into the public narrative of the Diddy trial. Whether it's proven or not, the shadow it casts over the proceedings is undeniable. And it's a reminder that in the world of celebrity justice, truth is rarely simple and transparency is never guaranteed.